Let us continue with the concept. We have discussed atmosphere in detail. Now we will discuss about air composition in detail and the remaining ones. Right? Now let us discuss in detail regarding air composition. Air composition. As already we said that 90% of the gases occur in troposphere. Troposphere, right? Now out of this 90%, nitrogen and oxygen are the most abundant gases in troposphere, and they constitute about, now see here, nitrogen constitute about 78% and oxygen constitute about 20.9% of your total gaseous volume, of your total gaseous volume. Right? Total gaseous volume. Now remaining 1% of gases which consist of argon, next one is carbon dioxide, next one is water vapor, and the next one is ozone. Right? Although these gases occur in minute quantities, but they are essential for maintaining life on the earth. Maintaining life on the earth. Life on the earth. Now again in this gases, now carbon dioxide, water vapor, and your ozone, they are very important in maintaining heat balance on the earth. Now heat balance on the earth. Now once a question was asked in your service commission examination, what are the gases responsible for heat balance on the earth? Carbon dioxide, water vapor, and ozone. They are responsible for maintaining heat balance on the earth. Now what are the remaining gases that exist in troposphere, or in general we speak it as atmosphere, right? Now neon, helium, methane, right? Krypton, which consists of many very little quantities, right? Minute quantities. Now this is the air composition. Now observe here, we will discuss in detail regarding nitrogen, oxygen, carbon dioxide in nitrogen cycle, oxygen cycle, and water cycle, right? So in general, in order to have a glance, I have discussed this. Now we will see the significance of nitrogen in general, right? Now what is the significance of nitrogen and what is the use of nitrogen? They are required by organisms for the synthesis of proteins, nucleic acids, and other nitrogenous compounds, right? Nitrogen is required for the synthesis of proteins, nucleic acids, and other nitrogenous compounds. Nitrogenous compounds. Now see here, what are these nitrogenous compounds? Your fertilizers, right? Your fertilizers. For the growth of plants you need fertilizers which consist of nitrogen. So fertilizers might be natural or artificial, right? So the fertilizers which contains nitrogen are essential for the growth of plants, right? And again, see here, we will discuss in detail regarding eutrophication, excess of nutrients in those cycles, right? Don't worry about that. Now, what is the significance of oxygen? Oxygen. Now, oxygen is necessary for the survival of ecosystem, right? Right. Oxygen enters the living world through respiration, which is a familiar process in both plants and animals, right? Now, respiration, through respiration, plants and animals breathe oxygen through respiration, right? And again, oxygen is useful for the manufacturing of, or for the making of, glucose molecules. Glucose molecules, right? Which is nothing but your C6H12O6. Now these glucose molecules are required for the formation of energy which is needed for various activities, right? Oxygen, right? Now let us see in general regarding carbon dioxide, and then we'll wind off the things, right? Now carbon dioxide along with water is used by plants in their photosynthetic process, right? Now the most important, photosynthetic process, photosynthesis, formation of energy by using sunlight is called photosynthesis, right? Now they produce organic substances such as your glucose. Now this glucose along with oxygen is used by living organisms for formation of energy, right? Now this is in general importance of this gases, right? And we will discuss in detail regarding this in your life cycles, right? Don't worry about that. The next one we have discussed regarding atmosphere. Now we will discuss regarding lithosphere. Now what is lithosphere? Now lithosphere is the solid rocky crust covering entire earth. Now I'll sum up. Now lithosphere is the solid rocky crust covering entire earth. Right? Now this crust is inorganic and is composed of minerals, inorganic and composed of minerals, composed of minerals. Now geologically, lithosphere refers to the combination of earth's crust and outer mantle. Now see here, the core lithosphere is divided into three regions. The first one is called crust, and and the next one is mantle, and the next one is core. Right, now we will speak about these two parts. Now these constitute lithosphere. Right, now what is the main significance of lithosphere? It provides the platform and habitat to the biotic elements of the ecosystem. Right, now see here, it provides platform to grow, platform and habitat for the biotic components. Now what are your biotic components? Plants, animals and other organisms, right? Biotic components. Right, now let us summarize regarding lithosphere. Right, now already we have discussed this. It provides the platform for biotic components. Right, likewise you speak it as terrestrial, which move on earth surface, transitionary, they sometimes move on earth surface and sometimes in water, and aquatic plants. Now the next one is, already we have discussed this, it is a source of nutrients and minerals, and these are vital for the growth of this biotic components. The first point itself says it is composed of minerals, right, which is useful for the growth of your biotic components. Right, now the next one is regarding lithosphere. Focus on this. Now most of your tectonic activities take place at the boundaries of this lithosphere regions. Tectonic activities take place at the boundaries of this plates of these regions. Right, tectonic activities. Now what is tectonic activities? Now these tectonic activities are responsible for earthquakes. Right, responsible for earthquakes. Now what is this tectonic activities? Now tectonic activities is nothing but the layers of the lithosphere may collide, they tear apart, or slide against each other. The movement of tectonic plates, now see here, tectonic plates is nothing but layers of the lithosphere in various regions. Right, now is made possible by thermal energy from the mantle part of the lithosphere. Right, now this tectonic activity is made possible by thermal energy from the mantle part of the lithosphere. Right, now this information is enough. Now tectonic activity is responsible for earthquakes, already we have discussed, and also most of the dramatic geological events. Likewise your volcano eruption happens due to tectonic activity. Right, deep ocean trenches happens due to tectonic activity. Right, now and already we have discussed about earthquakes. Right, now this is regarding lithosphere. Right, and your mountain formation is also due to tectonic activity. Now this mountain building or forming is called orogeny. Once it was asked in 2014 UPSC, orogeny. Now what is orogeny? Which is nothing but mountain building. Now don't worry about this tectonic activities, seismic zones. We will deal in this in discuss in detail in environmental degradation, right? You'll get this, right? So this is just basics in order to know what about lithosphere. Done. So we have discussed regarding atmosphere, lithosphere. Now we will discuss about hydrosphere. Hydrosphere. Now, as already we discussed about this, biosphere is formed through interactions of atmosphere, lithosphere and hydrosphere. Now what is hydrosphere? Now hydrosphere is composed of all of water on or near the surface of the earth. Now hydrosphere is formed or composed of all water on or near the earth's surface. Near the earth surface. Right? Now water is considered to be the vital constituent of the biotic elements, right? Now we have discussed about this. Water is nothing but your vital constituent for the biotic elements, right? Or biotic components, you can speak whatever, right? For biotic components. Now again let us discuss regarding this water. Now 97% of earth water is in oceans. And the remaining 3% is fresh water. Now again, in this 3% fresh water, 3/4 of this fresh water occurs as solid and exist as ice sheets. So only 1/4 of the fresh water is available for the biotic components, right? Now let us discuss about water cycle here, right? Then you can have a clarity of this hydrosphere. Water cycle. Now see here, every year there will be one question on water cycle in your service commission examinations. Now what is water cycle? So I will first discuss the definition and then I will explain it in diagrammatical way, right? Now on a large scale, water is cycled through evaporation to cloud formation to precipitation to runoff, whereas water when consumed by biotic elements is partially used for metabolic activities and partially excreted as waste in the environment in various forms, it seems. Now see here, we will discuss half of the part here. Now already we have said that water is the vital component for biotic components. Now they take this water, right, and they use partially for their metabolic activities. And partially excreted as waste. Right? Now what is this related to water cycle? Nothing, right? Just we are discussing about the biotic components. Now we will see the exact water cycle, right? Now water moves through hydrosphere in a cycle. Water collects in clouds, then falls to earth in the form of rain or snow. This water collects in rivers, lakes and oceans. then it evaporates into the atmosphere to start the cycle all over again. This is called water cycle, right? Now I will represent it in a diagram, then you can easily understand, right? Now water will be collected in the clouds. Water will be collected in the clouds, then they fall onto the earth in the form of rain, or snow. Rain or snow. Now this water is collected in rivers, lakes and oceans, right? Now I'll consider this as rivers, lakes and oceans. Now see here, then it gets evaporated, now see here, water from rivers, lakes and oceans gets evaporated. Right? Now again from the clouds, now it drops down to the earth in the form of rain or snow. Now see here, evaporation. Now here the water gets trapped and converted into ice. Now when these clouds are heated down, then the water will drop down in the form of rain or snow, and it will be filled into your rivers, lakes and oceans. Now see here, this cycle is called water cycle, right? Now got the point? So I have explained it in diagrammatical way. That's an easy way, right? Now we have discussed regarding hydrosphere, right, lithosphere and also atmosphere. Done. Now let us discuss about light in detail. Light. Now what you speak about light? Sun is the ultimate source of energy for the most of organisms on the earth. Now sun is the ultimate source of light, it seems. Now I'll sum up this. Ultimate source and this light is emitted as electromagnetic radiations. Right? Now this electromagnetic radiation, only certain part can be visible, right? Only certain part can be visible, right? Now let us discuss in detail regarding this electromagnetic spectrum, right? This radiation can be visible only some part through electromagnetic spectrum. Now before explaining it diagrammatically, let us see some points, right? So that's why you can understand the diagram easily. Now this electromagnetic spectrum consists of three types of radiations: short wave radiation, light wave radiation and long wave radiation. Right? Now what does this short wave radiations consist of? Now this short wave radiations include X-rays, UV rays, right, and cosmic rays, and cosmic rays, right. Now how do you describe this them as short wave radiations? Now when you observe through electromagnetic radiation, now their wavelength will be their wavelength will be shorter than 400 nanometers. 400 nanometers. Now 1 nanometer is nothing but 10 to the power of minus 9 meter, right. When the wavelength of this short wave radiations are less than 400 nanometers, then they are called short wave radiations. Now when the wavelength are in between 400 to 700 nanometers, then they are called light wave radiations, right. And we call it as photosynthetically active radiation. Photosynthetically active radiation, this is the light that is essential for your biotic components for the formation of energy. Photosynthetically active radiation. Now once in 2005 in your service commission examination, now what the question was, what is the wavelength of photosynthetically active radiation? It seems now your option is 400 to 700 nanometers. We call it as PAR, right. Now next, what are long wave radiations, right. Now the long wave radiations are nothing but having wavelength more than 700 nanometers, right. Now what type of rays do you have there? Infrared rays, infrared rays, right. Now this points are enough. Now again see here one more point to be discussed, and again this UV radiations are divided into three types. One is UVA, right, UVB and UVC. Now UVA, nothing but observe here 320 to 400 nanometers wavelength. Now they are called UVA radiations. Now UVB 280 to 320 nanometers, they are called UVB radiations. UVC 100 to 280 nanometers, now they are UVC radiations, right. Now out of this, why I have discussed this, UVC radiations are lethal, means harmful. Now once there was a question in 2011 service commission examination, which are lethal UV rays and what are its wavelengths, it seems this is the question, exact question asked in 2013. Now UVC radiations with a wavelength of 100 to 280 nanometers, and these radiations are lethal and you call it as harmful, right. Now I will summarize this all in a diagrammatic way, right, so that's why you can have a clarity. Now let us discuss this as a wavelength trap, right, 0.1 nanometers. Now see here, as already we have discussed this, short wave radiations, they are up to 400 nanometers. Now what are the rays that contains? X rays, UV rays, cosmic rays. Right, up to 400 nanometers. Now 400 to 700 nanometers, 400 to 700 nanometers. Now these range of radiations are called photosynthetically photosynthetically active radiation, right? Now they are called PAR. Now these radiations are responsible for your photosynthetic activity and for the life for the biotic components, right? Now beyond 700 nanometers, these are called what waves? Now these are light, these are short, right? Short. Now these are light. Now these are long wave radiations. Now beyond 700 nanometers. Now what type of rays does it contain? Infrared rays. Right, now see here, all the thing I have summed up in a diagrammatic way, which will be very helpful for your examination, right? From here, so I will make a arrow marks also. Right, done. Now let us go into the core concepts in the next video.